It's tabletop time.
I'm Jen.
I'm Gareth.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Dave. And today we are diving into the first session of our Book Breakers mini campaign. And tonight, Jazza couldn't be with us, but we're going to have some fun with Gareth. So hello, Gareth. Welcome back.
Gareth.
Welcome to your first Tabletop Time live
It is
stream.
lovely to be here. Thank you very much. I've done a couple of one-shots, and this is going to be my first sort of extended campaign. Am I right in saying this is this goes over several
Runs a few.
episodes?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But I mean, the beauty of it is we can continue it whenever we want.
Okay.
It's good.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
It's good to have you.
So
I'm getting paid
I'm
for
just
this,
going
right?
to expand myself because I was very small, but now I'm bigger and I feel better. I was a teeny tiny Dave. So before we start, we should probably thank our sponsor.
Yes.
Thank you to Black Magic for sponsoring all the campaigns on Tabletop Time, because it is through them that Tabletop Time was resurrected and brought back from the dead with their amazing equipment that we use in our studio for our setup, for streaming, and all of that stuff, and the editing software some of the amazing editors at Jazza Studios use every day in their career that I know nothing about. Gareth, do you know anything about that software?
Well, I guess you could say I know a little bit. I use it every day. And when I mean every day, I also use it on the weekends when I'm not at work as well. So the entire family of Blackmagic products, from their cameras to the editing software, is just amazing. It absolutely is. Like, when I started here, I wasn't Blackmagic products or anything like that, but now I'm exclusively that. Either I'm at work or at home. Fantastic. Great stuff. And great sponsors of pretty much everything we do here.
Thank you. We love it.
Yeah.
So today we're doing Book Breakers, and Rob, Rob is the narrator.
I'm the narrator of the first session, but Book Breakers is not mine exclusively. I'm just leading the way with the intro session, and then everyone else can pick it up from then on. Did we want to introduce our characters now, or did we want to introduce them as we go?
Yes. I think we should introduce them. Should we do a quick one now?
Yeah,
do a quick introduction.
Do it quickie.
All right, so I'm Dave, and I'm playing Richard Smythe. And Richard Smythe is an editor for the organization that are the Book Binders. And we work tirelessly to ensure that the fantasy novels you all enjoy remain intact as their author intended. Richard Smythe guides, nay, shepherds, 2 young scribes under his wing. And those scribes are...
So my name is Lyria, and I am a very eccentric 21-year-old. I'm very much into fairy tales. I know all about them, and I think this is the best job in the world.
My name is Jack, and I am brand new to the team, just like I am to Tabletop Time. So you look at you when you say something.
Our intro is actually your introduction.
What?
Our intro is your introduction to your team.
So am I talking to my team?
You're about to. You haven't met them yet.
I haven't met them yet.
No.
Okay. So do you want me to actually tell me?
No, keep talking about your character.
Oh, okay. Because it looked like I was doing something wrong there.
No, you're good.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're good.
Thank you. Don't just... Just don't.
I'll back off.
Okay. My character's name is Jack Morrison. It disappeared. He is a
never touch
19-year-old
anything
brand
again.
new scribe. He's new, and he's actually just joining the team for the first time for his first assignment. He's very excited to be there. He doesn't really have anything much in the strength department, but what he does, he makes up in intelligence. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, we're ready to begin then. Assistant Chapter Master Craig Waterloo is leading our new recruit Jack through a sea of beige office partitions. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? A click-clack of typewriters can be heard around you, as well as the low hum of many private conversations. Mm-hmm. As you're walking, he strikes a conversation with you. So, you finally worked your way out of the reading nook, eh? Mm-hmm. What did they have you reading? I remember back then. Gods, it was the worst. I reckons I read Where the Red Ferns Grow 10,000 times. And by God, I cried every single time old Dan took on that mountain lion. And damn it, if I didn't cry again when little Anne died of heartache.
I want to say that my character, Jack, has no idea what you're talking about, but he's so enthusiastic. He's just like, yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
Was yours a tearjerker?
Yeah, I cried.
Could be worse, I
lot.
suppose. Poor Everett over there, he got stuck with flowers for Algernon. You look over and there's just this really depressed looking man staring off into infinity. A single tear rolls down his cheek.
Oh.
Anyway,
Okay.
meet your new team. This
guys.
is Richard. He's your new boss. He's the editor of this group, and this is Lyria. She's a bit of an odd one.
Hi.
Hi.
It's good to be here.
Yes, my fledglings, you have been assigned into my esteemed care. Richard, and I extend a hand to shake theirs.
It's Lyria. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
I have the privilege of the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. You've all heard of it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's not talk about my past glories and focus on the job at hand.
Okay. A tall, rail-thin man with a bald pate approaches your team. A new mission has arrived for your team. Relatively easy one as they go. D rank shouldn't be a problem for you, even with the dead weight you just picked up.
Me?
He hands you a dossier.
Wonderful.
Now, do not disclose what is in your dossier.
I will not. And do not expect a dossier when I narrate.
This is going to be covered.
Oh my god, look at this. I have no idea what any of this means or the context by which
My first assignment. Oh, wow.
I'm assuming. Oh man.
Oh no.
This is intense.
You can show them all anything but the first page. I'll allow either Gareth or Jen to show their front cover because they are the same, but Dave, you can't show yours.
Right. Can you read that?
For those that can't read sideways, the book we are doing is Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. Cool.
Okay.
Did someone want to show a character sheet just so they have an idea of what they look like?
This is Magnus the Dwarf. Mm-hmm. This is
There you go.
Amaranth Essendon.
Amrath.
Sorry.
And this is where I'm like, I don't know what relevance this is going to have.
Arista.
I'm like, why do I need to know about Arista? Why do I need to know about these people?
You might encounter them.
Okay.
Rob's mistake was assuming I was intelligent. I can barely read. That's why I listen to audiobooks.
Cool.
Okay, let's do it.
Cool. I'm going to try and make it easier for you because it's your first run. We're going to transition into the world in
Are we going to have some sort of briefing before we go into the book?
only if Dave wants you to.
So Dave has got all the information on his cover sheet,
Yes, I do. But
Where-
who's Dave? I'm Richard.
Where would you like to appear? You can appear in the castle, or you can appear in the city, or outside the city.
I would like to appear outside the city. Well, in the city, but out, like just in an alleyway
outside.
or something.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I know nothing. I've never read this book.
Cool.
So I'd like to appear in the city in an alleyway, and I will be dressed in the garb of a wealthy merchant, and these will be my two ateliers or attachés.
Okay.
Yes.
Servants,
Are either
maybe?
of you good at fighting?
No.
I've got a bit of acrobatics.
So no one has combat proficiencies.
I've got athletics. I've got throw.
So no one took combat vocations.
Not particularly. no.
Just checking. Just checking. All right. So that's what we're going with.
Cool. We're going to put you in the, I guess, we'll put you in Artisan Row. It's a section of the city that's renowned for its craftsmen of different vocations and their superiority over those that you might find in the middle or low quarter of the city. We'll put you in an alleyway just offset there with your party.
Cool. All right. And I arrive, and your coin purses bulge as you each receive a commerce level of 3.
Cool.
Mine bulge 4.
Cool.
5. All right. So we arrive. Well, now, Jack, you look like a strong young lad. I'm assuming you can handle a sword.
I'm not very. I'm more book smart than than sword smart.
Right. Perhaps, Lyria, you're talented with a weapon?
Nope.
I see. I understand what he meant by dead weight. You do realize that these novels can be dangerous, don't you?
Of course. And I'll have you know that I can get you out of any sticky situation.
My weapon is my mind.
Yes. Well, that is like assigning 2 bows to the rifle division, because I'm quite esteemed in the field myself. It will be fantastic having lesser minds along for the journey. Certainly. Anyway, you know the plan. We need to fix this circumstance. Our goal is, of course, the king. The king needs to be in the castle, but he's been lured by foul novel meddlers somewhere else, to a trade meeting. And that is where we're going.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great.
Do you like
Had-
your accoutrement?
Accoutre who?
Your jewelry, your clothes, the items I've begarbed you in?
Oh, this looks great. You
Wonderful.
look fabulous, sir.
Thank you.
Look great.
Only the finest.
And you smell fantastic.
Well, we're in a fantasy world. We may as well be a little bit of a fantasy ourselves. Did they change their appearance as well?
you can.
Yeah, so Richard is like twice as good looking as he was before. He's like quite dapper looking, middle-aged guy. Cool. Proceeding.
Cool. So you look towards Essendon Castle, which is obviously where the king resides, in the heart of Mallingar, which is the city. And essentially, this main castle is surrounded by a high wall that is essentially on the side, banked against a moat. And there is 1 to 2, we're going to say 2 bridges that lead in that are heavily guarded towards the inner castle wall across this moat.
To them, then.
Cool. So you make your way down Artisan Row. There are, blacksmiths calling out, and you can hear that beating of hammers as they fix things. There's butchers selling, prime cuts of meat and new fish and, just things going on. You see a really, really sharply dressed young man with a bit of a swagger walk out. He's wearing very, very fine clothes. And he's obviously just walked out of a tailor.
I'd like to make a perception check.
Yeah.
Does he look suspicious?
He just looks like a jumped up noble wearing nice clothes.
Does he look like he fits or like he's playing?
No, he looks like he fits.
Okay, I didn't even need to roll dice.
He's obviously quite highborn from the look of him. He's not covered in any kind of dirt from the street, from the city. He's well dressed, clean. His hair is done pristinely.
I say, well, as a test, which of you is the silkiest of tongue?
I have 1 in deception and 1 in persuasion.
Why don't we give the newbie a good shot?
Let's see if you can prize the name for this.
I got this.
Gentleman. Go then, Jack. Impress me.
Hi there, sir. My name is Jack, and I absolutely love the getup you got going there. Where'd you get that from?
He looks you up and down and from
It's
like the top of his
fantastic.
nose, kind of snidely.
Did you like what I'm wearing, sir?
You're not from around here.
No, we just got in yesterday. Just got in yesterday, and I would love to know where you got those wonderful garbs from.
Sullivan's the tailor.
Sullivan's a tailor. Fantastic. By the way, my name's Jack. Oh, what's your name?
Why?
Why? Because I'm just a friendly guy. I'm new to the town. I'd love to meet some people.
I don't have time for this.
I apologize.
He walks off.
Rude.
Does he match any of my appearances? No. As he's starting to walk away, I would like to step in and intervene, like as he leaves, and walk up to him and say, "Oh my, don't mind my my protege there. Terribly sorry for the inconvenience."
2 seconds.
He's on his phone.
I'm checking something. And who are you?
Well, I'm Richard Smythe, a rather well-off trader and noble from... I'd like to lie and name a city that's nearby. based on knowledge?
I'll allow it.
Okay. What do you want me to roll?
No.
Okay. I guess I'd fairly well researched. Okay, so I'd basically...
We'll say the dossier included other cities.
Yeah, well, if...
It doesn't.
Yeah.
We'll say, I think Ghent is
Okay.
one. G-H-E-N-T.
From Ghent, yes.
Ulrich.
Ulrich, yes, you look like someone who was of the right cloth in this town.
Please.
Sorry, do I flatter you, sir?
I really must be going
Oh, yes. Which direction are we headed?
towards the castle.
Me too. Mind if we accompany you?
And what business do you have there?
A trade meeting with, well, the king himself.
I don't recall my father telling me anything about a trade meeting.
What? The prince? Oh, wonderful. Pleasure to meet you, and I bow down to him.
Nice to meet
Your
you, sir.
Highness.
Wow. Pleasure.
Shall we? And I gesture to the road.
Very well. On we go.
And then I'd like to basically make small talk and try and get little bits of information from him about, like, current events, if I can.
You know, the things are going quite well in the city, in the world at this point. There's been a bit of an uprising of people of Republic over in Dalgos. Some jumped up peasant is trying to start a revolution and bring down the monarchy.
Shocking,
I
as
know.
they do.
The worst. Other than that, just the imperialists looking for the lost heir of Melron. But other than that, no. Monarchy's doing good. Dad's doing
He's
good.
good. Dad's good.
Yep.
He seems fine with his dad, or is there a bit of disdain in his voice?
No, he likes his dad.
Okay. So we travel to the castle.
While we're walking, I'm gonna say it's a real shame about that fire that happened. How long ago has it been now?
Oh. Dreadful time.
What happened?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring these things up. I understand it must be very hard for you.
I think it was about 10 years ago that we lost Mother. Poor Arista was also caught in the tower, and that awful shadow of hers burned to a crisp, but still walking around.
Yes, I understand her bodyguard is keeping a good eye on her.
Yes. A little too close.
Oh, do you sense some tension there?
Now, a servant should, of course, know their place. Stay away from their master by a reasonable distance.
Exactly.
Now, as we approach the castle, I'd like to sort of flex one of the new skills. I'd like to roll an infiltration check to basically pass us off as if we belong with the prince and we belong striding in the castle past the guards. So it's basically, instead of stealth, we're not sneaking him, we're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what the skill's for.
Yeah. Okay. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I'd say a challenge level 2.
Oh, okay.
You're talking with the prince and you're walking, and he's kind of, well, he's a bit jumped up and aloof. He believes the world revolves around him, so he's not really taking note of what you guys are doing, other than the fact that you're talking to one another as you approach. This bridge over the moat into the castle walls. The guards that are standing guard there see the prince coming and stand up straight and puff out their chests and try and look nice.
Here are my dice. Will I get 3 successes?
So 3. And yeah, I'll allow it. You walk in with the prince and they barely even stop you.
I just nod quietly at them as we take entrance to the castle. Now, of course, I have no idea how to navigate this place or where I'm supposed to be going or where this meeting with the king supposedly would be. What time is it, by the way?
We would say it is about midday.
Oh, it's daytime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've got a while.
Oh.
Just it's not in your dossier, but just for note, the king would probably be holding this trade meeting in his, main hall chamber.
But it's not too late at night.
It'll be later, but that's where it'll be. At the moment, he's somewhere within the castle.
Okay.
The chapel is on the second floor.
The two of you, I would like you to, no, not the two of you. Actually, scratch that. Let's stick together. I'm assuming the prince is heading off to his own duties and we can sort of say bye or whatever.
Yeah. As you get into the main hall of the castle, he says, well, pleasure to meet you. I must be going. There is a kitchen maid that is just begging for me to come visit.
Bye.
Richard just cracks a big smile and he's like, wonderful, sir. So, we have a job to do, I say once he walks off, and we need to find out who has lured the king into this trade meeting. It is not supposed to be happening.
It's not supposed to be happening.
Oh, this is the point that the book has broken.
Okay.
Any ideas? I'll let you stretch your wings.
So where are we right now?
You are in the main hall of the castle. There's a
We're in the
grand
main-
staircase in front of you that leads up, and it's multi-tiered, so you can look onto the second and third floor of the castle as it wraps around. There is side alleyways. You can smell the faint smell of food, a nice roast, obviously wafting from somewhere near the kitchens. And there's also a bit of a tainted smell coming from somewhere. You would assume a dungeon.
Okay. No, I can't particularly think very well on an empty stomach. Can we quickly go get something to eat?
You can try.
Okay, I'd like to go and get some food. So I walk over.
Will I allow this?
Yeah.
Where are you going there, Jack?
One's mind cannot, fathom the complex nature of what we're doing here, so I would, without some sustenance. Wow, that sounded really smart.
I'd assume you've picked up a few words in your vocabulary, having read a book 10,000 times.
I have read a few books, sir, yes.
Yes.
But, if it's okay with you, we'd like to go and partake in some food.
Ours is not to enter books and indulge in their luxury. It is to
Yes, of course.
preserve their perfection. But yes,
So
I'm
that's-
hungry too. Let's
Okay,
go.
good. All right, good.
It could be a good avenue if we can ingratiate ourselves with the scullery maids. Perhaps they'll have some juicy gossip for
We're going
us.
to fit in.
But should we avoid the place while the prince is there? Did he go to the kitchen?
No.
Okay. Yes, we'll head to the kitchen.
Cool.
Okay.
You walk towards the wafting smell of roasting meats and fresh bread.
Cool.
Okay.
So after a bit of twists and turns and through a few doors, as the smell gets stronger and stronger, and you hear the clamour of pots and pans and obviously a chef yelling at people, you find your way into a relatively large kitchen. It's big enough to feed, or to have, I guess, enough preparation space and feed the entirety of the castle, king and staff included. And it's absolutely bustling with activity. There is, a chef yelling at all of the other people in the kitchen, and not even taking notice of you as, the goings-on of their job.
Does it look like they're preparing for lunch or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just always food available for people that, might not have time to actually get food, that have a specific time to eat lunch, other than the nobles in the castle that would be having, their set lunches or whatever.
Sure.
Is it particularly too busy the fact that we could actually slip through this kitchen area
No,
unnoticed to a different part of the castle?
You'd probably be noticed.
Okay.
I take the opportunity of stealth away as I walk through the doors, spread my arms wide, and say, so this is the esteemed kitchen and the glorious food provided by King, what's his name? Amrath. King Amrath. But I don't say King, what's his name, because my character would know. By King Amrath. Wonderful. I'm particularly gesticulating in over the top ways.
It's at this point a kind of withered, bookish man comes up to you. And who are you?
Me?
Yes, you. You entered with the prince, and you have not introduced yourself to the royal, not chaplain, what's the word I'm looking for? Steward.
Oh, and that would be you then?
Indeed.
My apologies.
What business
Noble
have you
steward.
here?
My name is Richard Smythe. I am a trader from Ghent. a merchant of, well, renown enough in my parts.
I've never heard of you.
Yes, but I'm sure my gold has passed through these walls many times.
Can't argue with gold. What brings you to Malangar?
There is a hastily organized trade meeting with the king, and I would be so remiss if I missed out.
Oh, yes, those dreadful traders from Delgos.
From Delgos, are they?
Yes.
I only knew the what, but not the who. What makes them dreadful other than their Delgosianness?
That's about it.
Oh, okay.
Can I make a general knowledge check about what the hell a Delgosian is?
Delgos is it's a bit of it stands out a bit in comparison to the rest of the Kingdom of Men, like the Kingdoms of Men, because it's the only one of the countries that isn't run by a king or by imperial rule. It's run by the people. It's a republic.
Gross.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're all here because we like royalty and kings. Yep.
Okay.
They have weird ways of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. So you are the steward?
Correct.
What was your name, sir? I didn't catch it.
Allenby.
Allenby. My attendants can introduce themselves.
Hi there. My name is Jack Morrison, and I'm here with what's his face, Richard. And yes,
Pleasure.
And my name is Lyria, and I give him a big bow. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And you too, milady.
I give the two of you a nod that your mission is pretty much been. I mean, I mentioned it as we were coming in. You need to ingratiate yourself with the servants and try and be able to get some information. You just mentioned a trade negotiation, and I kind of gesture to you guys in a way that's kind of like, okay, you know, I'm here as your teacher and editor, but you need to be on the job. So take some leave, and I'm going to watch you and look after you, but you'll get that info.
But you don't want us to sort of leave the area that you're in.
No,
right?
just stay here.
Yeah, cool. Okay. I'll start wandering around.
Get your food, you know, sort your stuff out.
Yeah.
Wandering around in the kitchen or wandering around in the castle?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Yeah,
You
the
got to
kitchen,
eat. And
yeah.
we want to find out more
I'm-
about these Dalgosians. Was that what you said?
Yeah, they're from Delgos. I don't know if you could call them Delgosians. It's a trade delegation from Delgos.
I kind of want to listen in to any gossip that's happening while I'm just picking around at food and...
Okay, so you pick around at food and you just hear idle gossip. It's mostly just the kitchen hands being like, oh, can you believe her sleeping with the prince again? Does she not know better? She should learn her station. And that fool boy slouching to her, he could do so much better.
Okay.
Why, that Pickering daughter would be perfect for him. Oh, but they've known each other for so long. They're basically like siblings.
I'm going to speak to the people serving food and ask where this meat came from. Which trade was it? Who was it with?
As a local hunter, a gamesman.
Answers that. All right,
Did you want to know what type of animal it was?
No, I'm just
Lovely
so,
venison.
so hungry.
Oh, help yourself.
Is
It's
it usually this busy around here?
It's actually a quiet period. There's no visiting royals or nobles at the moment.
Yes.
If the Pickerings were here, or even, Lord Braga's family, it would be a much different affair. Very bustling, very busy.
Spare my ignorance, but what families reside here tonight?
Just the Essendons and, of course, Braga.
Excellent.
Do we know who Braga is?
He's just, he's like the right-hand man of the king, another noble. One of the world's best duelists.
Oh.
I'm going to ask around and say, is any of this food that you're preparing going to Arista?
What was that, sorry?
Is any of the food that you're preparing going to Arista?
Oh, she's awfully bookish, girl, sitting up in that tower all day long. We tried to bring her food, but no one can get the damn door open.
Oh, perhaps, would you mind if I tried?
Be my guest.
Fantastic. Could you tell me where she resides?
In the tower.
Wonderful.
I'm listening in on this, by the way, as well. Yep. Just off to the side. They don't see me.
And I'll just put a couple of things on a plate.
Sure.
Now, dear Allenby, you mentioned the Delgos trade delegation. They wouldn't be staying in the castle, would they?
I don't believe so. They arrived very early this morning.
And they made themselves known?
Quite immediately.
And then...
Well, they requested a meeting with the king of the utmost importance.
And he heard them?
Their offer was very convincing.
Oh, ridiculous. But, anyway, okay, good to know. Do you know who might know where they're staying?
I believe they're staying in an inn in town, I would assume, but I've not heard anything, sorry.
Thank you for your kind assistance. And, I heard that you mentioned quite complimentarily my gold, so... And I pull out a coin and hand it to him.
Well, thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure to help a fine servant of the king.
I appreciate it.
Shall we say has Lyria left with some
She
food
can
to
walk
go?
off.
Okay.
I kind of nod to you before I go. Like, is that all right with you?
It's very... I pull you aside. It is exceedingly dangerous to be in these worlds alone.
Well, don't have to go right now. We can wait.
I just warn you, there all kinds of things could happen. Anything.
I can accompany her.
No. It's best if one were to. All of us should stick together.
Shall we go as a group?
Yes, that would be sensible. So what have you negotiated? You're going to,
Princess Arista's quarters.
Why?
It gives us an alibi to look around the castle.
I will admit she is a fine lady. And we're taking food to her? Mm-hmm. Seems tangential to the cause, but I'll allow it. We have many hours.
She may have information.
I hear she's fond of reading.
Certainly. Well, shall we go then? You lead the way.
And I go in the general direction.
You head upstairs.
While walking, am I able to find where the forge is?
Forge.
Stone. Oh, wait. Oh, I read that wrong. No, that's okay. We go up.
Okay.
I thought you said forge master, not stone worker. I realised that he's not. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's okay.
Cool.
I just want to keep my eye out for anyone that
Yep.
looks...
Look, there's just the normal, hustle and bustle of the castle. There's servants walking around, carrying, new bedding and linens, and there's guards patrolling and stationary at certain doors.
No one stops us or says anything.
No one stops you. No.
Great.
As you walk around, as I said, you hit the second floor, and at the end of a long hallway, you see a chapel, which is firmly denoted by whatever religious symbol they may use to denote it. I could not tell you off the top of my head. I believe it's a scroll.
Is the princess in there?
No. You continue heading upstairs, and you cross a walkway and then another staircase, and then you know that you're in this wing of the castle that has the tallest tower there. It smells faintly of smoke, as if something had burnt
Just
out.
happened recently.
No, like a long time ago, but it's still there. Like it's an
Still
undertone.
permeates the air.
There you go. And maybe you just see a minor creaks of the castle, which is odd considering it's stone.
And as you walk, your clothes transform into that of a castle servant.
Oh.
Can that happen? Okay, cool.
The editor can edit our appearances at any time.
Fantastic. Great.
So we get to her chambers and there's someone standing up front.
There is a relatively tall man, very well built and hideously scarred. Burn scars. Got no lips.
And we've got food, yes? We've got
One of you is holding a tray of food.
Oh.
Hilfred, I presume.
And you are.
I'm just here to give Arista her food.
And why did the servants not bring it up?
She stresses it.
Oh, that's true.
But we are servants.
Has it been tasted by the royal taster?
But of
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
You can leave it here.
See, the other maids, well, they're a little bit worried about her. They say she hasn't come out in a really long time. we thought maybe we could try and see if we could get her out of her room. Wouldn't that be nice?
She was out just last night, visiting her father.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. How peculiar.
Well, she spends a lot of time with him.
Was she talking to anyone else?
You ask a lot of questions for a servant.
I've been told I'm a bit gossipy.
Well, you can leave the food.
I kind of eye you.
I just looked bewildered.
All right.
Whilst this is happening, can Jack have sort of moved off around the corner, or are we all sticking together?
I mean, if you want to sneak away, you can sneak away.
Okay, I'm sneaking away to try to find another entrance into this room.
Is her door closed, shut? I imagine so. Okay, I'll keep talking to him.
Cool.
You distract him.
I would say he watches you walk away, confident in knowing there's only one entry to this tower.
Damn.
So, yes.
From the inside,
Hilford.
yes.
Hilford. Is that your name, Hilford, yes?
Yes.
Now, is the lovely princess behind this door?
This is her chamber. Yes.
I wondered, she's a bookish sort, yes?
Yes.
I'm a trader from the town of Ghent, and I thought perhaps that she might enjoy one of the tales of my city.
I assure you, she knows much about your city. She only got back from there last month.
Does it mean she's got the finest work of the finest novelists?
She also studies at the university.
Oh, very
She
astute.
boasts the largest library outside of the Nifron Church's crown tower.
Oh, is that what they boast? Well, they haven't seen my personal library then. I'd like to lie if you want me to.
Challenge level 5.
Woof.
I would normally do a contested roll, but I haven't given him a character sheet.
That's fine. I can do challenge level 5. With my 4 make it 5 destiny successes.
And do tell, what titles do you possess that you believe she has not read?
I just make up a bunch. But with the lie and splendor that they actually sound in, like from faraway lands, like kind of like, the scrolls of Arabiatha sort of thing. Like, of course, brought back from an expedition that lost 10 souls, and just flavor this stuff up so it actually sounds like really rare and exclusive. What's that?
Like a scroll from a ruined city of the old
Yes, and then like tales of that, and just like, yes, I'm a studious collector, and I of course send out expeditions. It's a shame how many we don't get back on them, but it's worth it for these texts.
It's like, Very well. You can try and get her attention.
Well, you say she doesn't leave the castle much, yes?
Oh, as a diplomat, she does travel.
Perhaps she would meet me for tea in the afternoon.
I can request it.
Of course. You're welcome to join. I would hardly expect you to leave your lady unprotected.
Naturally.
I'd like to make a perception check to see if I think that he's got the hots for her.
Challenge level 3.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't get the juicy dice, but I do have 5. 3 successes.
Yes.
And then I quietly say, yes, so you for your lady, and then because she is, of course, your lady. Yes.
I would never.
A man knows these things, but don't worry, I'm not competition in that regard, nor will I spill your secret, sir.
His hand moves to his sword.
Ah,
Oh,
I see our time is at an end. 3 o'clock.
For dinner.
No, like
Tea.
our conversation. I'm just like, and I'm like, yes, I will be leaving now. 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I nod and say, "Where's that boy gone?"
Around the corner.
Oi! Oi!
I've gone nowhere yet.
You just snuck just around the top, and you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. Coming down, sir. I'll be right there.
He loves looking out windows. I'm so.
The fresh air and all the food has got to me a little bit. It's made me a little bit nauseous.
It's the tallest tower in Malingar.
Yes, it's very far down.
Of course, it boasts nothing on the Crown Tower.
The Crown Tower
Sure.
with the sky deck and everything.
It's Crown Towers.
I heard something bad happened there.
Crown Tower.
Yes.
Oh, there's that awful rumor about those thieves that, what did they do? They broke in, they stole something, and then they put it back the very next night.
That sounds very confusing.
Yes. But again, it's just a rumor.
What was the object?
I don't know.
This sounds intriguing.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, we should be going, Jack.
Okay. Let us leave.
And I scurry you along. And then when we're like well down the stairs, I just say, "That man was rather surly.
Rather
Indeed.
silly indeed.
I think he wished to kill me." But anyway,
Surely that's not the first time your life has been threatened.
oh, they often get like this in stories, all melodramatic. Have you ever met a man with no lips and a sword?
No lips and a sword.
I've seen one with no face before.
Well, yes, it's all nonsense in books, yes.
Depends on what you believe in.
I'm sorry, what?
I want to go to the chapel.
Okay.
So we're still trying to find out.
As we're leaving.
So you're heading back down.
Okay.
Unless anyone else wants to go anywhere.
You want to
else.
swing by the chapel?
Yeah, why not?
Cool. As you hit the second floor, you take a detour towards the chapel, and as you get in there, it's a chapel. There's a few rows of pews, an altar at the front. It's dimly lit. There's only one entrance, which is the main front set of doors, double doors.
Okay.
Are the doors
You want to
locked?
look in?
There's recent hints of stonework restoration around the chapel itself, as well as in the adjoining hallway, or the entry hallway.
And no one's inside.
No one's in there at the moment.
Does this area smell of?
No, it's
Smoke.
away from the
It's away from.
tower.
Okay.
Is there anyone in the room at all? Priestly people?
No.
Cool. Would one of you go and assess that stonework? I'm quite certain there'll be a trapdoor or a recently removed escape mechanism of some sort.
Okay. And I'll go and check it, sir. So Jack
I'll
goes
also-
and starts like pressing all the stonework to see if anything clicks or any latches happen.
No, completely solid.
Damn. Can we just try the front door?
Well, we're in it
You're
already.
in the
Oh,
chapel.
we're in there.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
you're in the
right.
chapel.
Are there
It's
any
just-
gantries or lookout points or hidden areas, confessional booths, anything you can hide in?
There's nothing that you'd be able to hide in, no.
So it's an empty room.
Are there any books or anything laying around or scrolls?
Yeah, I'd say there'd be like shelving that might have like holy texts.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I guess we leave.
I'm happy to leave.
Okay. Nothing there.
Cool.
I want to go back into the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
and go around again, and I want to try and get information on the people that came last night, and if anyone knows where they've gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go back to the maids I asked to take the food and
Yeah.
be like, "Well, she didn't open her door for me, so
We told you.
I know. Girl's got to try, right? But Hilfred, he mentioned that she went out last night. That's so weird.
Well, she leaves her room to talk to her father. But that's about
Yeah.
it. And occasionally on a diplomatic mission.
Yeah.
And of course, when she was studying at the university.
I also heard that there was newcomers this morning.
Oh, yes, those traders from Dalgos. They're still in a meeting with the king right now, in fact.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, do you have any idea where they're staying?
Not where they're staying, no.
Because it must be pretty fancy. Must be somewhere nice.
Well, they've definitely got a lot of money.
Okay.
Do you know where this meeting is taking place?
That's in the king's hall.
Which direction's that?
From the entryway, take a right.
Right.
Yes, right.
Right.
To the right.
Which way?
The right.
Right.
Cool. We're gonna just head there. Let's go into the
Okay.
meeting.
So we
We
need to
can
see who these
just-
people are, yeah?
So if we slip into the hallway in between here and the meeting,
It's like a grand hall.
Yeah, but is there a hall that's got no one in it between? Like, can we go around into a corridor that's got no one in it and then go into the main hall?
If you want, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we take a detour so that we can become discreet.
We could pose as guards.
I change us all into the appearance of sort of like town guard, not King's Royal Guard, not close, with a wildernessy, like rangers sort of thing, like maybe with a bow and so we look like we're more like scouts and guards, and then head towards the grand hall.
Okay.
What is
And I completely change our physical appearance too.
Yep.
what,
Okay.
what is your plan?
As we approach, I say, well, I'm thinking that we might go in and have a gander, and we could maybe say that we're like some kind of scouts and there's been a bit of a mishap and that's why we're bothering the king.
All right, sounds good to me.
But I just didn't want to get our faces, our mugs caught,
Aye, Gov.
Aye, governor.
All right, let's head in.
So you found, I'm going to give you some extra work content. You found Victor Lanaklin's abandoned carriage just outside the city limits, hidden in some scrub.
We found that, or we know that's there?
You know it's there, but you found it.
We found what?
Oh, so that's information I know of that I can use in the story. I understand what you're saying. Okay, Victor.
Lanaklin.
Okay, cool. So we bustle into the King's Hall.
All right.
We open the door and respectfully, we don't storm in and go, "Oh, come here, don't do it." We just open the door and
Is-
quietly move into the room
Is
as a
there
group.
a guard at the door?
There are guards there. But they see you coming and you're appropriately dressed.
Hello.
I mean, they'll stop you for a second. It's like, what business do you have with the king?
Well, we found Victor Lanaklin's cart all damaged up in the out. We thought the king would like to know about it.
It was up in the hills, it was.
That was the best voice ever.
What?
Victor Lanaklin.
Yeah, that's the one.
When was the last time he was in Melangar? Very well. Come with me.
Oh, well, we'll do, boss.
Yeah, right, boss.
So you walk through, and this guard takes you through the double doors of this great hall. And the king is sitting there, upon his throne, talking down to these three people from Dalgos, talking to him about a potential trade opportunity. And the guard that you're with, comes up and stands at attention. The king looks at him and he's like, yes. And he's like, well, I feel like weird talking to myself. Yes. And he goes, begging your pardon for interrupting you, sir. These scouts just, they have some important news that might be noteworthy.
You go, Bob.
We found a cart up in the hills belonged to, who's it belong to?
Victor Lanaklin.
Victor Lanaklin, and we believe that you're aware of him. You know him, yeah?
Of course, I know Victor Lanaklin.
And we thought it was very important to come and let you know, sir.
You say you found his carriage all damaged.
All damaged, sir. Looked like raiders.
Raiders? In these parts, what is my city guard doing?
I don't know, boss. Maybe you should cancel this here meeting and get on to focusing on that business, eh?
Yeah.
What did you do with the cart?
Well, we left it there. We ain't got no horses to carry it with.
Was there anything left in it?
A couple of
I
scrolls
mean,
or something.
it ain't my place to touch anything, boss. Just call the king boss. That's my character now.
And was Lanaklin anywhere around?
Oh, well, no, he'd scarf it, hadn't he?
There was some tracks leading off into the woods, sir.
Did you follow them?
Well, we sent the
for a
other
little
half of
bit.
the squad to do that,
We thought it'd be best to tell you.
No good if we all got off and no one told you the news.
Yeah.
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 Plus,
you
I got a
said.
gimp leg anyway, so I ain't got much good for
Yeah,
walking
he's
up
a bit of a
hills.
gimp.
Allenby. Allenby. Yes, sire. Allenby, can you draft a letter to the Lanaklins and get it off immediately with your fastest messenger? We just want to ensure his safety. Of course, sir. Thank you. You're dismissed.
Wonderful, wonderful, Your Highness.
All right, thank you.
And I
sir.
take a good fucking gander at these trade people while we're in there.
Yep.
What do they look like? Tell me about these people.
Kind of swarthy, slightly darker skinned, slicked hair. not quite in the same style that people in Malangar would be wearing.
Do they wear like particular colors? Do they have any sort of like
No particular colors.
flag or anything that shows allegiance to any sort of region?
No. They're very distinctly not from Malangar, and their style is very reminiscent of those in Delgos, but there's nothing about them that outwardly appears like they're out of place.
What does this room look like?
It's basically just a king's throne room. So
Is
there's
there-
like a raised dais with a throne on it, and I guess almost like pews of seating.
Okay. Are there windows behind him?
Yeah, not behind him, but on the sides of the room. Yeah.
Okay. And is there any way to get from like the top or any other doors leading out?
There's a small door behind his throne, but that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe one on the other side, a side passage that might lead through back to the kitchens.
Right, we leave the room as we're meant to.
Did we pick up any information in here?
We got a little bit. We got to look at these trade delegations and an idea of what's going on, and hopefully we're, I don't know, causing a stir that'll maybe make the king not be in these trade delegations late.
Sir, can I please get back to my accent?
Yeah, we leave and we. Yes, back to normal. I transform us
God.
back into the merchant, the original disguise.
Oh, thank God.
Now, I don't suppose. I guess time can pass, really. Does anything much happen around the castle? I don't know what else to do at this stage of the day.
I want to go find Magnus.
How?
Blacksmith.
Just start walking around. I noticed the masonry was done in the chapel, so I'll start sort of searching around there, maybe try the outside.
Is that what you would like to do, editor?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Yep, cool.
Until 3 o'clock when your
Yeah, and then I have a tea meeting.
team meeting is.
Cool. You go up to the chapel and you look at the recently done stonework, and it's done exquisitely, but there's nothing out of place, and you see no sign of the dwarf.
Okay.
All right.
I'll start checking like other places where it may be done recently.
Yeah. As you walk around the castle, you see signs of stonework that's been redone, and again, all immaculate work, like really good. These dwarves know what they're about.
Okay. If anyone's passing by, like a maid or a servant, I'll ask them.
Where Magnus is. Yep. And they're like, oh, that dreadful dwarf. I've not seen him today, thankfully. But he's always around somewhere, tinkering, fixing things.
Is there somewhere where he usually resides?
I don't know. He just kind of appears.
Can we hear any sort of tinkering going on in the castle somewhere? Some sort of
No.
clanging or anything
Just
like that? Too?
nothing outside the normal hustle and bustle of the castle life.
Okay.
Okay.
Where would a dwarf reside after hours?
Someplace small, I'd assume.
Oh, a hard joke. Very funny.
It seems as if the dwarf is doing all that he is supposed to be doing, correct?
Yes. Being a lecher aside.
Well, as I said, all that a dwarf is supposed to be doing.
Fair.
I don't think we'll find much in this avenue of inquiry. So, shall I proceed to my tea meeting?
Who do you have a team meeting with?
The princess.
Oh,
You've really got to get a lot better at navigating these books, Jack.
I was around the corner. I couldn't hear what
Ah,
was happening.
yes.
I was up in the rafters.
Where are you having your meeting?
I'm guessing like a sitting room in the castle.
Yeah.
Sure. If she comes, she might just not.
Okay.
Cool. We'll wait
wait.
until then. Are we happy? Head down to a sitting
While
room.
I'm not going to attend your meeting. And
No, you are.
Okay.
Are we both attending the meeting?
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to get Jack to stay if he wants to.
And what are you going to do, Laria?
Well, I thought maybe I'd go back and see if I can find my way into the throne room. Not that I'll make myself known, but
See what they're talking. I had a thought about that. Those nasty. I don't think they're supposed to be there. Are they supposed to be there?
Who?
The trade delegation.
Nothing about them seems out of place.
But from the book.
From the book, no.
Okay. So I don't believe that they're supposed to be there, but if they are breakers, they have the same talents as I. Thus, we cannot alert them to our presence. Now, I was thinking perhaps, with a bit of clever help from the kitchen staff, we could rather give them a bout of diarrhea. With a sort of upset tummy that makes scheming and hatching rather inconvenient. And with such a plan, and the king's food untarnished, well, the royal taste will see to that, he can be left to continue his nightly business on his own.
How does one give someone diarrhea, sir?
Well, I'd hope the kitchen staff will know how to do that, and it won't be too hard to turn them against the Delgossians. They consider them, well, horrible. A few dozen coin in the right pockets, I'm sure we could get it done.
Financial compensation. Yes.
Easy earned, easy spent. I say as I just raise my hand in the air and like coins appear in it.
It's a good plan. Kudos.
Thank you. I hope I can pull it off.
Me too.
So we're heading back to the kitchen then.
Do we want to go as a group or do we want to go while?
Well, I want to have a delightful meeting with this princess first.
So do you want me to be there or do you?
Do you want to spend
Shall we
time with the princess? You seemed rather fascinated with her. This is your chance to have a meeting.
I don't
Can I create items? I'm assuming I can to some degree.
To the limit.
Would a limit be like a book?
What's the book?
Can I create the book in Wingdings? Because I'm trying to be like reasonably I couldn't conjure an entire book that I hadn't read word for word unless I had the eidetic memory. So can I just create a book that's full of Wingdings nonsense?
To you?
Like it's literally Wingdings, like the
So no one
font.
can-
It's just nonsense.
So it's just like it looks like an alien language to these people. So I can be like, this is the lost book of rah rah rah, written in this text that
Sure.
you've never seen. It's just garbled nonsense.
Sure.
Yeah.
I
So
will allow
Can it
you
be
to
called
create
that too?
the nonsense
The Lost Book of Ra Ra Ra.
I can't remember what I came up with before, but yeah, that's what I'm
What's it?
thinking.
Ra Ra Ra.
Cool.
do
All
it.
right.
Rah rah.
Ra Ra Ra.
Rah rah.
Should we have this meeting? I feel like I set up. I don't feel like this meeting is at all necessary, but I set it up. We should at least do it.
Shall we discuss what we're discussing in this meeting with the princess?
I was planning on just being charmed, Jack. What would you like to discuss?
Well, her mother just passed away recently, yes. So
Years ago.
years ago. Does she still feel the effects of what has happened?
Yes.
I'm
We
just
can
wondering.
talk about the dwarf. We can talk about the brother. We can talk about if the dad knows who these people are and why they're here and why he's trading with them. If she knows, I don't know.
Should we talk about the circumstances of the fire? We may have information. Or will this interest her? Or are we being deceitful with her? Or
I think we could ask about the dwarf, but I don't particularly think.
She's close with her father though, so she might know why.
Why he would be having this meeting? Yeah. Okay. Let's
And
do it.
and maybe if she's persuasive, we can get her on our side and be like, "Your dad can't." stay here."
It could be a good backup plan to have her on side to pull her father away
That's-
if he stays past 12:30.
Because if anyone's going to get him out of that room, it'll probably be her.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my plan.
Cool. And she meets him in the chapel all the time, doesn't she?
She meets him.
Okay. We have a way of we need to get her on side so we can use her later if we need to.
I agree.
If my plan fails, we need an alternate method of forcing the situation.
Sounds good.
Let's have this meeting. If she comes, we sit in a tea room.
I wonder if she'll appear.
Well, I didn't give the guard any reason to let her appear. Oh, destiny roll. Oh, a 13. It's the lukewarm side of average.
Yeah, that's not really helpful, is it?
10 and 11 are useless.
Yeah. You sit down in this little sitting room, and there's a small array of food set before you that's been provided by the kitchens in preparation for this meeting, and Hilfred enters the room, does a quick scan to make sure there's no threats, and then opens the door. And a lovely, beautiful young woman walks in that you can only assume is Princess Arista.
Hooray.
The princess.
I bow to her in appropriate deference to a princess, but do not attempt to look like a courtier.
Okay.
I'm, of course, far too old for her.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm a bit surprised you wanted to meet with me. I have no idea who you are. But
Well,
Hilfred said you have some rare books, and I am intrigued.
I'm Richard Smythe, a merchant from Ghent. I make my fortune, well, some would say excavating the ruins of the old world. Others would say other things.
Ah, a hunter of Persepliquus.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just say, just yes. I don't know what that is.
Sure.
And I heard you were very learned.
Oh, I like to think so.
A princess that learned is certainly worthy of meeting. I wanted to see if you were everything that I heard you were.
Can we manifest a collection of books, like a bag or something like
he
that?
has manifested a book.
I have manifested a book.
Just one book.
Just one book.
Ah, the
In
Wingdings.
Wingdings.
I'm going to pour tea for everyone.
The Legend of the Wingdings.
She watches you pour tea, but she does not reach for a glass.
That's fine.
I snap my fingers out for a glass immediately and take the first one and start sipping it if she doesn't want one, as a sign of goodwill, I guess. And I have brought you a book to look at. It is, well, useless as a gift in its current state, untranslated. And I slide the book across the table.
She picks it up and, leafs through it with a furrowed brow of concentration. And I guess intrigue. She is intrigued by it. She's like, it certainly is an interesting cipher.
Indeed, you would think that it's not the ravings of a lunatic. It's too consistent for that. But it is certainly, well, hieroglyphic.
And where did you find this?
One of my expeditions brought it back from faraway land.
Okay.
I don't want to reveal too much when it is still so fresh from the source. Of course, I implicitly trust the daughter of the king, but you never know who could be listening in the wings.
The Wingdings.
She picks up the cup of tea and kind of looks at it, stirs it with her finger. And as she stirs it with her finger, which isn't quite touching the water, the amount of steam rising from the cup increases.
Oh, she's a fucking witch. She's a witch.
My eyes just go huge.
Is that common?
And pray tell, what would you like in return for this book?
I wasn't assuming such a... I merely wanted to...
Come now, you are a merchant.
I wish to establish a relationship with you. A potential long-going, fruitful relationship. You are learned, and I have a source for such things. As I said, this book on its own is useless until deciphered.
So what else would you have from me?
As I said, as all good relationships start with a meeting.
Well, thank you. I really must be getting back to my study.
And what will you be studying? I've shown you what I'm studying.
This and that.
Yes, I can see that you have been studying. You like your tea hot, then?
Oh, very hot.
I can see that too.
She glares at you a little bit.
Is it bad to do magic in this world?
It's not common
Okay.
or known about.
How much can we interrupt? Because
You can interrupt.
Sort of like
Go for it, please do.
Princess, I couldn't help but notice your tea has increased in temperature, and there was a smoke arising from it from your finger. I'm very interested in how you did this.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Yes, I'm quite sure you're mistaken there, Jack.
Oh, is that rude of me?
Oh, you mistook what you saw for something else.
Ah, yes. It happens from time to time.
Isn't that right,
Apologies.
Princess?
Exactly.
Apologies.
Can I use?
This could be a gamble, But I'd like to do a magic trick, basically.
Do you have any proficiency in a magic trick? Or skills?
Well, I'm thinking I can just summon things and change clothes and appearance, right? Like to a limited degree.
It's fair.
So I was thinking of just like settling my hands on the table and having gloves on. And just seeing if she noticed.
Okay.
Well, there are many things we could discuss. But, of course, now is not the time or place for them. But I really wish to start the relationship I gesture with my gloved hands. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, can I use my folkloristics to decipher if she's a witch with some of the quirks that she's showing?
She's not a witch in folklorish sense.
Okay. But I get that she's obviously magical, yeah. Okay.
So you've done your magic trick.
All I did is I basically pulled my hands out, they had gloves on them. And then I just gestured and then I just put them down. I pretended like nothing had happened.
Did they not have gloves on them before?
That was a 19.
It was a 19 on a destiny roll. Are you a practitioner of the arts?
Oh, rather bold to say it like that.
I saw what you just did.
Did you?
Well, 1 second you weren't wearing gloves, and the next you were.
And I'm not wearing gloves, I say. Put like just into the flourish so they briefly and then I show my hands.
It's such an interesting trick.
Indeed. As I said, we have much that I could discuss with you.
Where did you learn the art?
I've just put my finger on the book and I say, there are many buried things in this world.
I'm trying to decide how much to say without spoiling the book.
Mm-hmm.
Just take the damn book.
You took the book.
Yeah, she's got the book.
She took it.
Yeah.
He means the book that we're in.
Oh.
See, the book is important because the book is entirely useless in the world. So by giving her a book full of wingdings rather than anything else, she'll never be able to translate it. It's complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't ultimately, theoretically within the confines of a single novel, I don't personally think it would really affect the narrative that's told in the novel.
No.
So that's the thought behind it. Whereas if I gave her a book of magic spells, it might completely change her character arc.
I want to glance over at the clock, assuming there's a clock in the room, or how long I feel like we've been in this conversation for.
Half an hour?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Consider our relationship established. Please write to me any time you find anything of import, especially pertaining to the arts. I've only ever found one other person that has the talent. And
Who might that be?
getting in touch with them is no easy feat. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't tell you. It's their own wishes.
It is not something that we discuss freely. It can be rather dangerous. So, absolutely. And I'll cordially finish the arrangement, comfortable in the knowledge that I think I have a very strong motivational in if we need to use her as a backup. Because then I can kind of be like do something with magic, or a letter that's like, I can give you this secret, or I can tell you this if I need her to do something.
And she took the book with her.
Yeah, she can have the
Wingdings.
Wingdings book. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't care about no stupid Wingdings book.
I created it.
So, I imagine at this point the kitchen's probably busy trying to prepare for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to try
Yeah. So afterwards we'll head down into the old kitchen area.
and pose as waiters, or are you happy staying as we are?
Well, the problem is, and I'll discuss this with. Let's just discuss it in character, in a private place. Are we happy to end that meeting?
Yep.
She's gone.
So we need to basically lean on the knowledge and understanding of the people in this place for our little surreptitious tummy upset. Any ideas? Unless either of you are masters of the culinary arts, or perhaps the arts of the bowels.
Anyone have
mean-
any general knowledge?
Yeah, I have a little
Yeah.
bit of herb knowledge, but
I got one pip. You got herb knowledge.
but only in folkloristics.
I feel like herb. That's like the perfect skill to know. We're in a fantasy setting.
She did actually ask if she could have one. I'm like, it kind of pertain only to the world you're in rather than the world you're visiting. If it's got other types of herbs and plant life.
Sure, but if it's based on, if there are overlap,
Okay. Yeah.
Is there any type of herb?
But if
you can
it's
decide on
something-
right now if
it's
there's
something
overlap.
that we just want a tummy upset, then I'd be like, put raw chicken in this, and they'll, But if it's like, is this mushroom edible? Well, I wouldn't know that necessarily.
In this, what you know, the book is there. What's the overlap?
Pretty high.
So you wouldn't know. Basically, what Rob's saying is you wouldn't know any of the like mulgleberries from the book because that's not related. But you
Yeah.
do know real world herbs. So if the book is based on the real world, they should.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a check? See if you know something.
So when it comes, because we've changed the way vocations are with skills, so is it what the vocation is and then add the skill as well?
Whatever skill Rob decides. So did he pick
Need
intelligence?
to be intelligence.
Okay.
So you add your point of intelligence, which you've got 1
Yeah.
plus base 3 plus however many points are in the skill.
2.
2.
I'll put this editor's note as 122. Gen cheating. 2 successes, was it? Rob hadn't set a CR. Ooh.
I haven't set a CR, but I'll adjust it. There's nothing that you can find in immediate presence of the kitchen that you think will do it in terms of like herbs and mushrooms and other potentially poisonous plant life. There is a butchering table with the entrails of animals.
Oh, gross.
Delicious.
Fantastic. I point this out to you.
All right. I'm assuming how big's this castle? How many people and staff and stuff?
A lot.
Does this animal eat from a particular part of a forest that's known for herbs that are of a laxative-like
They
effect?
Generally cut out the bad parts of the animal and leave it on the side in the entrails. You shouldn't eat them. Which you would know. All of you would know.
Shall we attempt to convince the staff to assist us in this endeavor?
Persuade them?
Yes. I'm happy to.
By all means.
Should we head to the kitchen?
Into the kitchen we do.
I assume we're already in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
you're already.
Oh, okay, we're in the kitchen. I'd like to go up to. Do we look like we know who's running the show?
It's pretty obvious who's running the show. So,
And they're quite busy.
yeah.
I'm going to approach them regardless.
What can I do for you? Quickly now.
I have a special request on behalf of the Crown.
Oh, and pray tell.
The Foul Delgos delegation. They need to leave on terms that don't leave the king in a position of sort of. What's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? I'd like to think about my sentence before I say it. I'd like them to leave the king in a position where negotiations have stalled for the night. You see, they've billed it as an urgent thing that must be done tonight, but the king cannot be pressured to make such decisions. So we need to buy an evening.
So ask him to leave.
It would be politically painful to do that. Can I persuade or deceive him? Would you like me to roll?
You haven't really persuaded or asked him to do something.
Okay. Yep.
That's mine.
So then I'm going to say, the request, of course, sir, is for you to sully their meal. Of course, not, and ensure it is entirely separate from the king's.
Give them diarrhea, sir.
Make them do poo-poo.
Make them shit themselves.
You want me to send a foul dish from my kitchen?
I'd hear it's a delicacy where they're from.
Yeah, that's a great... To them, it would be a delicacy, yes.
Their stomachs are trained for this. Their bowels know no measure.
And of course, your recompense would be... appropriate to the insult to your culinary talents.
Every multiple of 4 is a 1 to your challenge level.
Okay.
2.
Okay. This guy doesn't like Delgosians.
3.
3.
3. We'll round up.
Fine by me. That is 3. That was just.
Is this what is this? You're on
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
It's,
Okay.
it's persuading the head cook to poison.
Yeah, but not lethally. It's
Not
only going to
lethally.
upset. And I will hand. I get 3 successes, but I also like put a stack of
Coin.
coin with him as well.
Very generous. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. Sir. And then we scarper out of there, I guess.
And wait for the fireworks.
I believe we should ensure that this goes down quietly. So I will transform us all into. How many people were in the King's Hall? Was it like a very closed off?
There was a bunch of security and guards, but
Okay.
other than that, it was mostly just a bunch of retainers waiting to talk to him, as well as the trade delegation and himself.
Can I transform us into just like guard? Not like clearly his personal guard, but just
Yeah, just
castle
normal castle guard.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
And their plan is to head in and just stand around the wings with the other guard, just on guard, and just be able to watch what's going on in there.
Okay.
We do that,
Cool.
and we let the night proceed. Hopefully with brown fireworks.
Brown Town.
So you enter the Great Hall, or the King's Hall, with the throne room, and the king is sitting there having his discussion with this trade delegation from Dalgos. And the more you talk, the more you realize, the more that trade delegation talks, the more you realize that these people are actually from Dalgos. They're not. Like, their knowledge of the world is very thorough. And the king seems to be going along with it, as in, he knows about the world as well. So your inclination that these people might be breakers isn't 100% solid anymore. Like, you think they might actually be from the real world, which does beg the question how they got there.
I lean slightly across and says, well, the dominoes are in motion now.
Yes, quite.
But, essentially, they're talking about just getting...
I still think whether or not they have been put on this path, because that's the other thing. They may not be the breakers, but they may have been put on this path to impede the king. So I'm going to allow it.
I feel like there's something with that up in the hills. That cart that was destroyed.
Victor Lanaklin's cart.
Yeah.
Nothing that'll pertain to what you're doing at the moment.
So she'll come back, Charlotte.
But, as the trade delegation goes on, it looks like Melangar's probably going to get the sweet end of this deal. Essentially just a new supply of foodstuffs for the kingdom, which is great. Brings people more food. There's winter coming up. It's nice to have that stockpile ready. And they're getting a great deal for it. So God knows what happened to lead these Dalgosian trade emissaries here, but it's working out in Melangar's favour.
Does it look like they're planning on leaving anytime soon, or are they kind of...
I love
At this point, they break for dinner.
I love the idea that these people.
Oh, I mean, like,
No,
they're in for the long haul.
No, they'll. I'll say you will have overheard they're staying in town at a local inn.
I assure you that the trade delegations will go until well beyond they're supposed to. As your editor.
But yes, they break for dinner. King Amrath gets a bit hangry and decides he's going to have a break for dinner, and he calls for it, and he goes off into his little side room and eats, and this trade delegation as well as the rest of retainers leave this main hall.
Poopy. Cool. We'll just do what we're doing.
Shall we follow them?
They take their foodstuffs from the kitchen that have been prepared for them. And go to a private room that's been put aside for them to eat.
Is this the poopy food?
This is the poopy food.
No.
It's a few hours after that. I don't know what you've done in the meantime. You can say you've been scanning out or
just
eating or
watching.
whatever. But the trade talks continue. They're called back into the royal chamber or the king's throne room, whatever, and they continue their trade talks. And I'm assuming you go back in as guards.
Yeah.
Cool. It's about 6 hours in, so it's actually quite late at night now. It was like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. They start looking mildly uncomfortable and squirming a little bit. And one of them begs his leave and very quickly leaves the room.
Good.
I think a plan is coming
This
into
is
motion,
terrible.
sir. There's a foul smell in the air.
It has come into motion.
I apologize, my liege, for my compatriots' hasty departure.
That was good. That was a good noise. Thank you, sir.
It seems our dinner might not have sat quite right. Foreign palate. It's all very new to us. May we beg your leave until we are recovered? The king's like, of course, but don't you run from town before we can finish and hammer out the details of this deal. Oh, no, never, your majesty. But thank you. Then they leave. Cool. The king goes through the last of his few remaining retainers that are waiting there as you stand guard. And then he stands up and he leaves and he walks out.
Excellent. Well, we'll wait an appropriate amount of time, maybe 5 minutes, and then head out.
Cool. He walks up the castle towards like the royals' wing where they sleep and stay. And what do you do?
Stay sensibly as if we're just patrolling, but actually change our appearance like once or twice.
To try and stay stealth.
We're still guards, but then like we walk across a corridor behind him like perpendicular, and then like 20 seconds later, as different guards come back the other way and then head down the corridor he's on. So he has no idea that and quite drastically, like I put on like 30 kilos and like
There's a bit of a difference.
And he's got so many guards that he doesn't recognize them.
There's a lot.
Okay.
Cool. He heads to Ulrich's room, his son, which you met earlier. Pumped up prince. And he's in this closed room for maybe half an hour.
Cool.
And then he leaves.
My plan is to tactically ghost him until basically like 1:45.
Yep. And then I guess you continue following him. He makes his way up to the tower where Arista is and knocks on her door because he knows he can't open it. And eventually she answers the door and she lets him in. And she closes the door. And he's in there for about an hour.
Is Hilfred outside?
Hilfred is still standing guard.
We of course just strut up past Hilfred up to the tower watch and then walk back down.
Of course. Blending in all the while. That's the beauty of being able to change what you look like at the drop of a hat.
It makes it very, very effective.
Yes. Eventually, he does leave Arista's quarters. And it's quite late now. We're going to say... Let's say it's 1:45.
Right? Good.
Yeah. And as part of his normal daily routine, he heads to the chapel for a nice little prayer sesh. Cool. He enters the chapel.
As he's walking in that direction as different guards, I'm just like, evening, my lord.
Evening.
Headed to the chapel again, sir.
Oh, of course. It's my nightly prayer.
Your piety is an honour to us all, my lord.
Thank you.
And then I sort of head in that direction too. And I say, I was headed off for the same reason.
Cool.
And we head to the chapel.
Yep.
All three of us?
Yep. Well, yeah.
I'm going to stand outside the doors.
Okay.
Near the doors.
Cool. You enter the chapel, and the king goes up to the front near the altar, and gets on his knees and starts praying.
Cool. I walk in, take my helm off, drop down to my knee, respectfully to like further back, pray for.
Oh. Yep. Sorry, you go.
Pray for maybe like 10 minutes, 15, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What time is it roughly? So I pray until about 1 a.m. And then I say, I'll be taking me leave, my lord. And then I walk out of the chapel.
He doesn't respond and just keeps praying.
Of course. And then I leave and the door shuts.
I also leave.
Yes.
And then I walk away from the doors. I leave the chapel completely, and I'm going to be in a position where I can watch the corridors leading to the thing, but just not really suspiciously.
Yep.
But in my heart of hearts, I know that the dwarf is going to go through the interior tunnels and get him that way.
Spoilers. There are no interior tunnels.
Oh.
Okay.
You watch the door. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105.
Okay, at 105, I head into the chapel.
The king is still praying. 106.
Okay,
What's happening with the time here?
hold on. I've failed my job. I change my appearance into that of a dwarf. As I head, unfound. I pluck, as I walk in there, I'm assuming I could make a small dagger. I go in alone this time, but I'm afraid to.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm going to take one of you with me. I say, outside the door, I say, who wants to learn what sometimes this job must entail?
Oh, I would like to learn, sir.
Quickly now, you with me. You stay outside.
Alright.
Sir, what are we doing in here?
And we head inside. And as soon as the door shuts, I transform into that of the dwarf.
Oh.
And then walk up and I make a small dagger. I don't know if
Yeah,
is
I'll
that
pay- I'll
an
pay it.
appropriate
I'll
thing.
pay it.
And then I walk up behind the king while he prays, and I just go.
Sir, what is happening?
You stab the king in the back on his left side of his back, and the knife penetrates through to his heart.
Is that the appropriate place to stab him?
He doesn't scream because the air is forced from his lungs. He collapses in a pool of blood, and the crown falls from atop his head, rolls across the floor, and hits a pillar and falls over.
Now, out of character, did these people see the dwarf?
Yes, technically, but after they see the dead king.
Okay, in the manner in which it occurs in the book, I would like to set that up.
Cool. You hastily make an exit from the room and get around the corner just in time as a large figure with a fairly large longsword at his hip and a short sword on his other hip and a very large sword slung across his back, and then a smaller figure who is very stealthy come out of a room you could have sworn was locked. They creep across. You see him quickly pick the lock on the chapel door that you locked behind you.
Well, of course, we have keys. We're guards.
Of course. And they creep in there. And you know that having just left the dead body of the king in there, that these people are going to find it, doing whatever it is they may be doing inside this castle at this point in time. And as they leave the room, our little cunning dwarf man, who is actually our Richard in disguise, points at them and yells at the top of his lung, "Murderer, murderer. They've killed the king. Murderer."
And then rounds the bend and out of the world.
As all of the other guards come rushing in to take on these two people who have just been accused of murder.
And we pop back into the book.
You pop out of the book.
We pop out of the book and appear in the real world. And I say, any questions?
What was with the stabbing?
Oh, it was in the book. Haven't you read it?
No, of course I have.
Ah, well, it's good to be familiar with the work you're infiltrating. You see, the king died in that room, killed by the dwarf.
Ah, yes, I remember now. Yes.
Unfortunately, it seems the breakers had meddled rather more than I'd assumed, so I had to assume the role myself. It often takes place in such a way, but we have to do what must be done.
Another
Fantastic.
job well done, sir.
Exactly.
Good work, sir.
Let me just check that, and I'd like to flick through the book. It seems fine.
Yep, the plot has corrected.
Cool.
As far as you're aware.
Until next time, book breakers. Richard's watching. Richard Smythe is always watching.
Nice.
That was
Yay.
weird and cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our first episode.
Thank you.
We'll be
is-
doing more.
Is each episode a different book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's why I got confused. I thought this was an overarching book. Right.
You fixed a subtle plot change. I mean, that was a subtle plot change.
Okay.
You had to recorrect it quite drastically. And the reason I picked this is because I wanted you guys to do something. Well, I mean, I wanted you to do something that might be seen as inherently bad, but it's for the plot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you haven't met Richard. Who cares not for fictional characters?
If you look at your little dossier, there's an icon in the top. It's in Latin.
Yeah, I know so.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it means the narrative is above all. And the idea that this plot, this storyline takes precedence over your personal feelings.
Yeah.
If we'd had more time, I would have really gotten you guys to get to know the king and what a loving father he is, and as a pious man, how good he is to his people, just to drive home the fact that you're killing a good man for the plot.
I had a feel. I was about to say it midway through, and I was like, I was gonna say, what if the people changing this book are people that hate that the king died? And I had a feeling that that was the case, and I'm like, we're gonna have to kill the king. I thought that the dwarf would kill. Because we're not going back to this book. No. What in your head had the dwarf done? Like, what has changed?
Oh, as why he's not there?
Yeah.
He's drunk.
So they got him drunk. Is that what they did?
Yeah.
But then what was the merchant thing?
The trade delegation. That was to try and delay the king from getting to the chapel.
So it was like the two plans.
Yeah.
So we really needed to go to the dwarf like Jen was trying to do and try and stop him from getting drunk. But that would have helped.
It would have put the dwarf in the right spot, but not the king.
So we'd have to do both.
You had to find a way to either get one or the other there.
You know what I kind of love? Is we had to do both, but we couldn't do both because my character, who was very influential on the story, was so hindered by my goddamn disabling characteristic that I was too terrified of splitting the party. So it actually became really relevant. That's great.
Yeah.
Do you need to say thank you to our lovely patrons?
We say thank you to our lovely patrons. Well, they'll get their gorgeous scroll at the end of this mini campaign. Oh, you know what? Just for bloody you.
Where's it scrolling?
Just for bloody you. Let's give you one right now because we love you so much. Look at that.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if this is the most up to date because I'm not Jazra and I'm not a tech whiz. Hopefully it is.
I think
it auto updates, right? Or something. Is auto lucky? Anyway, thank you to the Dark Fox.
Happy birthday, Yell, Hair, Triss. You're doing a good job. We are your family.
That feels old.
AJ Macy, you've got a crown. What does that mean? That
The
sounds
God King.
good.
Sagacity lost.
Caron
Rhiannon, I can't say it.
Tickle Duck. I love that name.
Rogue Soprano.
Yell Hair Triss. Hey, thank you to all our patrons. It's through your love and support and the cool people in Twitch and the cool people who watch our videos and listen to our podcast that we keep making stuff like this. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And next week, I'm running it. Thanks to the patron votes. There was a vote on Patreon and they voted on a book to win for the next one. And that book is Artemis Fowl. So
I'm hoping.
who knows Artemis Fowl?
Is it worth watching the movie?
No.
No.
I've only read
nothing
the
is-
first
I was
one.
just
for
that
background
tempted. I'm
on
not
it.
going to do this. I was that tempted to make the book break just that they made it like the movie.
Yeah.
It was going to be like you know how they often do those book companions with movies? It was going to be like a crap ghost written rewrite of Artemis Fowl so it fit the movie. And I was like, ugh. No. So it's Artemis Fowl. So two of you've never read it though.
I've read the first one.
Okay, well it's going to be the first one. It's not going to be any more than that. Anyway, so next week, Artemis Fowl. Thank you all for watching. And have a lovely whatever time of day it is where you're watching.